Shalom to those that's watching this later on. Shalom. And for those that's hopping on, Shalom. Lord willing, this is edifying and straight to the point. I think everything is clear. The water, love, the water. I think everything is clear. The water, love, the water. First and foremost, I want to give all the praise and all the glory to the one true power, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. The double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone who rule well and teach well through spirit. In the mighty Shalom to the hopeful elect in the same spirit, teach this word and believe in this word. Lord, willing that you all can continue to endure and be sincere in the same spirit and in sound doctrine. Shalom to the Akwatiyam, believers to this faith and this truth. Lord, willing that you can continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife. And Lord, willing to most have mercy on the other brothers and sisters not in the faith. Lord, willing, this is quick and straight to the point. The title of this lesson, I wanted it to be, If I Live, I Can Do More Fruitful Work for Hamashiach. That's quoted from Philippians, the first chapter, going into what Paul was speaking of, right? Yahushai was magnified through Paul. How was he magnified? By his teaching, right? So I titled this is life or death. Are you even serious about this? So I'm going to bring out some scriptures, mainly directed towards the men, but even you women, you men that's not teaching, and even children, Lord willing, you could take heed to the verses that's actually coming out and take heed to the actual title, right? This is a life and death thing. Are you even taking it serious? You got to have the mind frame if you were to be persecuted, if your life was on the line, and they tell you to denounce the name of the Lord, don't even say it, don't even believe in it, are you willing to do it? Now, a lot of us can say with word, yes, I'm going to do it. But the Lord tell us, little children, 1 John 3:18, don't love in word or tongue, but love in deed and truth. Your actions should show. Again, this goes back to other precepts, Lord willing, right? But being confident in the faith that how strong your faith is that you wouldn't do it, right? And you want to count on that Yahweh Shema Shai will move you to do it, right? Because we understand, for those that is of this faith, Paul was chosen to be a chosen vessel to be afflicted, to suffer, right? One of the elders was going into the Tuesday, not a Tuesday class, but Friday class, that Paul got stoned. Paul got stoned and he got beheaded. But when he got stoned, he went to the spirit world and came back to life, right? I think, that's in 2 Corinthians when he was talking about, I believe, the outer body experience, right? This is something that we should be taking serious, right? So let's just get right to it. I'm going to read this in the NLT. If you want, you could definitely read the KJV. Just, for the edification and the hit. This is Philippians chapter 1, verse 20 in the NLT. It says, "For I fully expect and hope that I will never be ashamed, but that I will continue to be bold for Hamashiach, as if, Salaki, be bold for Hamashiach as I have been in the past. And I trust that my life will bring honor to Hamashiach whether I live or die." Right? That they bring honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Right? And that even goes, I think, Second Peter's 1 and 10. Right? You want to make yourself worthy unto the Lord to be of those ones that are called and chosen. Right? It's amongst those elect. It says, "For to me, living means living for Hamashiach, and dying is even better." Right? A lot of us is living for the moment. Right? Is you truly living each and every day for you? Yes, we in the flesh. Yes, we have moments where we zone out. But truly, are you living for the Lord? And you in your life, you can see, do you be thinking about the Lord when you having say if somebody saying something worldly, right? It could just be about sports or something. It's something that they say, you thinking about scriptures. Right? You wake up in the morning, right? You might be making some food, right? And you either see 144, right? Where is your mind at when it comes to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai? Right? Because living for the Lord, you should be moving in action. If you die for the Lord, right, of course you made an action dying for the Lord, and now you with the Lord, right? But what he said? He said, and dying is even better, right? Dying for the Lord is better than dying for unrighteousness. It says, "But if I live, I can do more fruitful work for Hamashiach. So I really don't know which is better." Right? We do more efficient work for the Lord while we live. First, talking to you men, you always teaching and edifying the sheep, man. Right? Going outside, being the example, being the light of this truth. How you handle yourself, your mannerism, even when you even at work, man. But this truth, right? How we live, us living, from sun up to sundown, right? The men of the Lord is probably doing 2, 3, 4 videos a day. Some might be doing more. Hey, at the end of the week, you might be doing 10, you might be doing 15, you might be doing 20. Yo, we're more fruitful when we're alive and doing the work of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Now, for some of you women, hey, that might just be like, dang, what am I really doing? Right? Because for you women, right, for not to just only sit idle and just think, oh, because of my husband, I'm going to get saved. Hey, I can do more fruitful work for Hamashiach. While you edifying those sheep, if you come across single women, or if you have a friend or a family member that's single and they always wondering what's going on, right? You planting those seeds, you constantly feeding if they want it, especially your children, especially your sister, constantly feeding. Guess what? You doing work of the Lord so that they can be builded up, right? If we living for the Lord, you should be counting each moment and every day of some type of way of planting a seed, right? Constantly putting nutrition into that seed so it can actually grow into what it's supposed to grow into. It says, "I'm torn between two desires. I long to go and be with the Mashiach, which would be far more better." And I know a lot of us, I'd rather be with the Lord right now. I really would. But I know, even for myself, I feel like I didn't do enough to even be worthy to go in the spirit world. And then most likely I'm of the elect. I want to live to constantly I want to do more. To get my crown, I want to do more if the Lord allows me. Right? So he said he was between two desires: to be with the Lord, or to continue to live and to actually manifest and magnify his name and his truth. Right now, I got this thing in my head because of this lesson I did earlier. I call it BOPC. Bow, pray, obey, and confess the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. You know, that's our form of worship to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Bow, pray, obey, and confess the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Right? When I'm alive, I'm better at it. Let alone, you don't want to be ashamed of bowing to the Lord, praying to the Lord, obeying the Lord, or confessing his name, man. Right? Verse 24 says, but for your sakes, it is better that I continue to live. Right? This is for the sheep. Knowing this, I am convinced that I will remain alive so I can continue to help all of you grow and experience the joy of your faith. What is saying, Timothy? I endure all things for the elect's sake. Right? You got to be convinced that while you're alive, right, the Lord got you alive to continue to help the others grow and experience joy and faith. That's another reason why I add to you women, you know, unless you're around a single woman, a sister that's coming into faith, children, right? You want to constantly continue to practice that Deuteronomy 6 and 7. Men, you want to practice that Deuteronomy 6 and 7, but you even got more on your plate. You got to make sure that you're remaining to feed the sheep, warn the wicked, the unrighteous, just like the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone and the men on down that's constantly observing what brothers and sisters, I mean, what men is teaching in these other congregations. A rebuke is to really through the Spirit benefit you. Of course, it benefit Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai for his elect, but for you, it's to benefit you so that you can come correct and actually repent to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai and actually teach his truth 100%, bringing forth sound doctrine, man, so that they can be in a line. This is what these lessons is for. This is what the rebuking is for us to walk that single eye, that one straight path, right? So he said again, I will remain alive so I can continue to help all of you grow and experience the joy of your faith. And when I come to you again, you will have even more reason to take pride in Hamashiach Yahushai because of what he is doing through me, right? We got to have pride in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. All the things that you learn that you're a Hebrew Israelite, right? You learn that the prophets is back on the earth. You got to take pride in this, right? Ephesians, the 4th chapter, I believe verse 7 down, when it goes into the gifts of Yahushai. But you have to understand what I mean by gifts, right? And these are spiritual things. So when we look at verse 11, he said he left apostles, prophets, evangelists, teachers of the edifying of the ministry, right? To bring us all in the unity of faith, to bring us all in oneness, to bring us all in agreement, right? The gift is the teachers, so that for this teaching is what's the gift from the teaching? To build us up, to bring us in the unity of faith, right? In one mind. Those are a gift, right? Let go, breathe, take it easy, and allow these teachings, allow the wisdom, knowledge, understanding to work within you. I mean, it's really Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. But at the end of the day, you know, everything that we do, we want to be, we want to take in pride in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. It says, above all, you must live as citizens of heaven. Come on, right? Hey, each day we grow, each day. It doesn't matter the weekend, it doesn't matter the day, right? Each day you want to grow to being more appealing to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, how we live, right? Conducting yourselves in a manner worthy of the good news, the gospel about Hamashiach, right? So we got to conduct ourselves in a way, right, that's appealing to the Lord. It says, then whether I come and see you again or only hear about you, I will know that you are standing together with one spirit, one purpose, fighting together for the faith, which is the good news, right? All the believers, the teachers, the other men, the women, and the children, right? We supposed to be standing together in one spirit. This is why, you know, I'm always doing like little lessons for, like, if you have a married house, right, we should be one band, one sound, and it should be under the husband. Now, of course, we have moments where, Yeah, Paul said that we were going to suffer in the flesh. We have moments where your wife might be just a nagging in your head, right? But you still the head of that household, right? You want to constantly be a reflection of Hamashiach Yahushai in everything that you do, right? But you women that are of the faith, you're going to take heed to these words. You're going to take heed to these words, right? To be even more together with one in the spirit and the purpose and fighting together for the faith, right? Playing your role, right? Wife, mother, sister, right? Daughter of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. It says, don't be intimidated in any way by your enemies. This will be a sign to them that they are going to be destroyed, man. But that you are going to be saved even by the Most High Himself, right? So let's not be intimidated by our enemies in this nation, in our nation, and our enemies of the other nations, starting with Esau, right? Because eventually you're going to you're going to be physically persecuted, right? Eventually, that like Yarmayan, he was telling me at work, and this through the spirit is crazy because I was watching watching that Mary movie that they got on Netflix. And before I say what in the movie to Netflix, Yarmayan was telling me when he was with my sister, his wife, they was out and these flies and these bees was following them. Wherever he went, they went. And she was like, man, why is them flies following you? And he just, wherever they went. And I think they went to another location, flies and bees was following them. And she said, oh, I know why they following you, because they could see the light on you. And I got stuck at work. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. I said, yo, bro, before you continue, did you ever see the TV show, the movie Mary, Mother Mary, you know, trying to have a movie about Yahushai's mother? Of course, they went totally off. But when she was younger, like 11, 12 years old, the mother wanted Mary to play with this little boy. They walked away, and the mother said, one day y'all gonna be married. Because, you know, back then they did arranged marriage. And she playing with this little boy, and they run to a field, and the little boy sit down on the ground, and he looking at her. He say, yo, Mary, look. And she turned around, there's all these butterflies. And going to the next scene, you see Mary running throughout the field. She's running through the field. All these butterflies follow her. It's butterflies flying off of this tree, that tree over there, trees all the way down, and they're following wherever Mary go. So through the spirit, these enemies is intimidated by you. You have a light on you. Yahweh Shem Shai dealing with you. And that was the confirmation I had last night. You know, not saying brothers is the elect, but this is just my faith and my hope, right? The brother Yarmayan just offered that, and when he said it, and just certain things that I get to see, the mannerism of the brother, I believe he is one of the elect, man. And just to see flies and bees is following them, and I'm thinking of this, and that movie just came to mind out of nowhere. I believe he's of the elect, and that's the same spirit that eventually a lot of the elect are going to be looked at differently, because we're headed into that time of that physical persecution. First is going to be verbal, which we already deal with now, and then it's going to be that physical persecution. Verse 39, it says, for you have been given not only the privilege of trusting in Hamashiach, but also the privilege of suffering for him, right? And this is the privilege to suffer for Yahweh Shem Yahushai. It says, we are in this struggle together. You have been my struggle in the past, and you know that I am still in the midst of it, right? We are in this struggle together, right? Even if a man of the Lord, his household, his wife, and his children, we are in this struggle together, man. Especially if we dwelling in a house together, especially if we're in the union together, especially if I'm, you know, if a man is able to deal with you and you ain't a damn heartache, even not a heartache, right? Some of y'all women gonna be humble, but we're in this struggle together. That's another reason why the children gotta understand how serious this truth is, man. This is not about you just lollygagging on the damn phone all day, even though the main important is the men, and then of course the rest of the other adults, the other men and women. But if the children is Israelites, we should be teaching them too, right? And some of our children is growing in a different faith that some grown-ups don't got. Because of course, you know, the mindset of children, their imagination, their fantasy of certain things go beyond even a grown-up, because their brain is still processing and growing. So this teaching is going to affect children way different than us. But still, like, for my own, like me and my brother Yamayan, I examine the way my children act, or certain things my wife might say, um, about the children, and I study it, and I understand when it don't pertain to Yahweh Shem Al Shai, you see the effect of your children all into certain things, this and this and that, this and this and that. When it comes to the teaching, or just speaking about a verse, speaking about something of the Lord, the kids daydreaming, they looking somewhere else, they talking, they're fidgeting, or some of them is just stuck in a daze, lost somewhere else. But as soon as you change it to video games, that all the interaction go over there. We always have to examine ourselves to know, damn, man, I'm all serious when it comes to this, but not that. Right? And it's not, you know, we all human. We all have those moments, but those is moments for us to examine ourselves to be better when it comes to being a believer of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Right? Let me get this side one, because I know I gotta go to 2 Corinthians real quick and read this in the KJV, but it's a word I want to get in a blue letter. Um, Dang, what did I just say? Salaki. It might come back to me. I'm getting too excited. Now I'm thinking of other precepts. Yeah, it might come back to me. Salaki. I'll read it in the book first. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 20. It says, "Now then, we are ambassadors for Hamashiach, as though God did beseech you by us. We pray you in Hamashiach's stead, be ye reconciled to the Most High. For he hath made him to be sin for us, who knew no sin, that we might be made the righteousness of the Most High in him." Right? We're going to look up the word ambassador, because Paul said, now then, we are ambassadors. You go to Revelation 18 and 20, the Lord said that he's going to, I'm going to redeem you. I'm going to avenge you off of her, which is Babylon, apostles and prophets. Right? And if the apostles and prophets getting avenged, even, you know, the rest of the other men, the wives and the children is getting avenged too. But it all goes back to the forefront, who the Lord put in the forefront until his return, which are the ambassadors. So in the Greek, this is
Strong's G 4243. Presbuo. Presbuo.
Presbuo. And to be an ambassador is Strong's definition, by implication, act as a representative, or to be a senior, figuratively a preacher. Right? When you look up the word preacher, it's going to even go into a prophet. Right? A preacher is a minister. A preacher is a minister, a priest, evangelist, apostle, a missionary. Yeah. Yep. Evangelist, a churchman, apostle, a churchwoman, right? And really, a churchman is a man of the temple, the spiritual temple, right? A churchwoman is a woman of the temple, right? Let me get got another one I gotta get in a blue letter. Yes, I'm glad I didn't. I didn't forget that one. Where is that? I think it's in. Is it second? I think it's First Peter's. No, yes, it's First Peter chapter 2 and verse 5. It says, "Ye also, as lively stones, are built up a spiritual house." See, this is a spiritual house. This is what this church is. They have men, women, even children, and the men, women, and children are spiritual, right? In order to be in this temple, in order to be in this house of Yahweh Shem Shai, you must be spiritual, right? Even when we look at 1 Corinthians 2 and 14, right? To discern the things of the Lord, you must be spiritual. Some people can't discern it because they're not spiritual, right? So again, it says, "Ye also, as lively stones, are built upon a spiritual house, a holy priesthood, to offer up spiritual sacrifice, which is ourselves." Romans 12 and 1, right? Our reasonable service is to lay ourselves down like a living sacrifice, acceptable unto Yahweh Shem Yahushai, a holy priesthood. That's the men. It says to offer up spiritual sacrifice acceptable unto the Most High by Yahushua Mashiach, right? Come on, man. This is a spiritual house. And if this spiritual house, we should be taking this serious. That even more is a notion. If this is a spiritual house, we should be taking this more serious, because if we're of Yahweh, which if he abide in us and we abide in him, we should be moving, thinking a little different, right? Like the brother Yarmayan, it's not about boasting me up, right? This is about something that somebody said on one of my videos. But in real reality, I was doing skits. Like, I was dancing, I was doing the Judah Mysterio, and of course a lot of Israelites and even people in the world was liking it. It was making you laugh. You know, ain't nothing wrong with enjoying yourself. But then hearing brothers say that's not the spirit of the Lord. I think one brother said that, and I think he was affiliate. This is when I was on Facebook, and he said that. And I said, he said something about, that's not the spirit of the Lord. You doing all this goofy noofy. That's not the spirit of the Lord. I said, man, I hear you, Ak. But I said, okay, in the spirit of the Lord, shouldn't we be in unity? He was like, yeah. I said, okay, if we in unity, the elder told, you know, especially if we Great Millstone, we shouldn't even be on Facebook. That man deleted his whole comment. He deleted his comment, then he made a post and he deleted the whole post. But then, that, you know, I took that even from me through the spirit. Even if he deleted it, then like I think it was something. I think something else with a different congregation I seen when I was still on Facebook, that somebody was doing something, and I'm like, dang, man, I'm over here doing this, and it wasn't like a real detrimental thing, but it just made me evaluate myself, because we're a reflection of this truth. There's nothing wrong with having a good time. There's nothing wrong with having a laugh. And for me, I was always on social media being a clown and making people smile. And I would get like, oh, this is another thing a brother said. He was like, it's crazy when you post these funny things and look at all the views and all these people that's watching it. But then as soon as you post something about scriptures or the Lord, less people watching. And that made me sit. And I'm like, wait, so am I doing these things just to gain the popularity or the views? And I'm not getting spiritually upset that when I post something of the Lord, the less people watching, then I see that people are cleaving to the funny bullshit than it's truth. And then I started seeing that I'm feeding that lazy drowsiness, and it's giving more attention to the lazy, drowsy niggas. Even people with a faith that say they are the faith, they're taking heed to it, laughing and getting the enjoyment from it. And then there's less people getting the enjoyment on hearing the words of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So that kind of made me stop doing those type of videos. That made me really get off of Facebook, because I really wanted to be a reflection of Great Millstone. And they're not doing those things. You know? They're not. And Yahushua didn't leave us on this to be an entertainment to you niggas. That's what later on, when I go through some of these things, Yahushua didn't put us in this thing to be for y'all for entertainment, right? Like when we went to 2 Corinthians, the 5th chapter, verse 20, the whole point is, we represent Yahweh Bashem Shai. You're not just another person. You're standing in a place of messengers from the heavens. You must walk in integrity, seriousness, and reverence, right? Coming in this truth, we got to have full respect, a high spiritual respect for Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? Yeah, you laugh and giggle with your brothers or your household, but all this other extra stuff, right? They already look at Hebrew Israelites as a joke. And I'm seeing it more when you see the entertainment of what, celebrities do. Just like how that damn Kai Cenat and Clover House, how they just firecracked each other's house. And the neighbor said, see, this is activities of criminals, right? That stuff is for the world, man. And that made me feel comfortable to stop doing it. And the brother, going back to the point, the brother Yamayan was like, see you growing through the spirit, Or I remember because brother was talking about videos that brothers did and how we laughed. I said I had to stop doing that, Then you had other people asking why I don't do videos. Other sisters on other platforms like Instagram or TikTok would say why I don't do videos, why I don't do those videos. It was entertainment, gave us joy, it made me smile, all those other things. And I said, I don't want that. I don't want that on my record, that I'm just a funny guy. Like, what about the video? You be like, hey, yo, sis, okay, yo, Ak, you watched the video? No, I didn't. But I watched 4 of those funny videos you did. And that's just like, you, what spirit is you in? So I had to stop feeding that to people, right? Yeah, we're going to get this other point, but let's read this first. This is James chapter 3, verse 1. We're going to read the KJV and the NLT. The KJV, it says, my brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. In the NLT, dear brothers and sisters, not many of you should become teachers in the church, for we who teach will be judged more strictly. That's why is you taking this serious, man, right? Because teaching this truth isn't casual. If you lead others, you're responsible for their spiritual direction. What is saying the gospel? The blind lead the blind into a ditch. And they both fall into it. It says, if you mislead or deal falsely, that blood is on you. Right? It's the same how we teaching our children, man. Right? Let alone, if you not teaching them, like if a woman worried about what you doing, brother, and she ain't even teaching her children, right? But guess what? She could be teaching her children on the actions that she doing, right? You got your mind in a damn gutter. Let alone if we always say we in this faith and we not teaching our children. If I'm not out here trying to even, rebuke and correct myself, but if I'm not out here thinking about the elect and I'm not teaching them, what am I truly in this thing for? Just what I was just talking about, my little goofy side, right? Yes, I could still be goofy, but to be on social media just to amuse y'all, that's really amusing the 2/3. And then some of y'all that say y'all the faith, y'all get off on that entertainment, and this is supposed to be something serious, right? Let's get this in Ezekiel, a side precept. If you writing these down, you can put it as a side precept, because what we just quoted said, if you mislead or deal falsely, that blood is on you. So this is Ezekiel chapter 3 in verse 17 to 18. In the KJV, it says, my son, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word at my mouth, and give them warning from me. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, thou shalt give him, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thy hand. Right? The Lord is going to require his blood in your hand. You know what? I'm going to read NLT because I just seen some wordplay that I think I'm going to like. This is a noun meaning for watchman, a man employed to look after an empty building, especially at night. But we know that we're an occupied building because we just seen this is a spiritual house. Another watchman is a security guard, just like I think later on I might get into it. But when you go into Revelations 1 and 3 or Revelations 3 and 11, where it says keep those things written therein, right? That word keep means to guard, right? And if we're guarding the word, how much more for the elect? Going back to Cain saying, am I my brother's keeper? And when you look up that word, it says guardian. For you men that are ambassadors truth, you are guardians of this word. You are guards of this word, and you're guardians of the elect, men, women, and children. This is Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17 in NLT. Son of man, I have appointed you as a watchman for Israel, right? A guard. Whenever you receive a message from me, warn the people immediately, right? And this, when the Lord instill your instructions, go do a lesson, right? It could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Last night I did a lesson, and maybe because I got too excited, I didn't premeditate on probably 1 or 2 verses, and I ended up deleting it because it wasn't loading. And that gave me confirmation the Lord didn't like it. The Lord was like, you could do better, And just like Jeremiah, he always say, a video might not load or the sound. That was probably the Lord saying that I can go even better. I'll still bring out the same precepts, but you can go even better. In the first video I did, I didn't bring out the precepts that I brought out in the first video. I only brought out 2 of the verses, maybe 3 of the verses of the video that was uploaded about what Captain Tazariak did. So I redid it, right? And doing that, I want to make sure I'm warning the sheep correctly, right? It says, if I warn the wicked, saying you are under the penalty of death, but you fail to deliver the warning, they will die in their sins, and I will hold you responsible for their death. And that's what we just said earlier, right? If you misleading, falsely guiding people, right, that blood is going to be on your hand, right? Let's go to Philippians chapter 2 in verse 12. In the KJV, it says, wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work your own salvation with fear and trembling, right? In the presence of Paul, right? Or in the presence of Yahushua, he was obeying him. Now when he's gone, obey him even more, right? Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Fear and trembling. Fear and trembling, right? In the NLT, right? It says, dear friends, you always follow my instructions when I was with you. And now that I am away, it is even more important. Work hard to show the results of your salvation, obeying the Most High with deep reverence and fear, right? With deep respect. And there go that word obeying. Like I said, B-P-O-C. Bow, pray, obey, and confess the name of Yahweh B'Shem El Shai. Right? How can we follow instructions? Let me go to this, because it's 2 side precepts I got with this. Revelations 1 and 3, that I just want to get real quick. Is blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. Right? Yeah, you could be reading all you want. You could be hearing the prophecies all you want. But you need to keep those things that are written therein. Right? That's the example of obeying the Lord. That's the example of having a high reverence, having respect. The Lord told you to keep them. Let's look up this word, keep, in the Greek. Keep. I think.
Strong's G 5083. Pereo.
Areo. The biblical usage to attend, to carefully take care of, to guard. Metaphor, to keep one in a state in which he is, to observe. Right? Hold fast, to watch. When you go down to the Strong's definition, it says, by keeping the eye upon. Ooh, thus deferring from which properly to prevent escaping. So to keep this word, you don't want it to escape out of your temple. And yes, we in the flesh, sometimes your memory not the same. Guess what? You get in there. You know how many times a lot of brothers is reading over the same chapter? Oh man, I read that book. Guess what? Because we in this flesh, you want to constantly read, right? It says keeping the eye upon. Right? We, in order to obey and have a respect to the Lord, we have to keep our eye upon his word. We have to keep our eye upon even ourselves. Keep your eye upon the sheep, man. Right? Let's get this in Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, the 4th chapter. This is one of my favorite verses for my motivation, man. This is Sirach, Ecclesiasticus chapter 4. In verse 28, it says, strive for the truth until death, and Yahweh Shema Shai shall fight for thee. Right? You striving for the truth until death. If death arrives, you're fighting until death. Don't be a person to give up. Even when you living in this thing, don't be lazy, because you're called a sluggard. That's why the Lord says, study the ant, thou sluggard. The ant is always at work. Outside the nest, in the nest, when an ant die, and somehow that ant the ants come and carry the ant to the ant cemetery, right? If one ant find food, the ant go back and go tell the whole unit, and then they gravitate and grab it. Guess what? The ant do better than us. So many rich Jake, and they're not looking out for their people when we always want to talk about our people. That's why we need Yahushua, because now when we get Yahushua, it's going to be true brotherly love, true sisterly love. Ain't no emulation. A brother not going to envy another brother's position or the shit he got in his household that he don't got. Another woman is not going to be jealous because that man got this woman, or he got that woman, or he entertaining this woman, or he made this woman smile. On this side, this is a motherfucking battle, man. Do you know what you got into, man? Do you know that this is a battle? This is like battleship, man. But do you know that this is a battle? Right? We got to get in this thing to strive. Strive in this truth. Right? I think it's I think I could look up a Hebrew word for strive. I think I did a lesson on it. Always strive with man. I don't know what that say. Go not forth hastily to strive. Strive not with a man without cause. Strive to prove another. For thy people are as they that strive with the priest. He shall not strive, but cry, strive. Oh, yep, there we go. I think this is the one. Luke 13:24. Strive to enter in at the straight gate, for many, I say unto you, will seek to enter in and shall not be able. Let's look up this word, strive. In the NLT, it says work hard. So strive in the Greek is G74.
Strong's G75. Agonizomai.
Agzonizumai. The biblical usage is to enter a contest, contend in a gymnastic games, to contend with adversaries, fight. Metaphor, to contend, struggle with difficulties and dangers. Come on, man. That right there, I think, hit. Labor fervently. Fervent means extremely hot. So labor, basically you got to be on fire to labor for the Lord. Right? So it's fight, strive, labor, struggle with difficulties and dangers. Right? What is it? 2nd Ezra 7th chapter, starting at 4, I think down to 11. This is a dangerous path. Fire or fire, I think, on the left, or fire on the right, and water on the left, whatever way. This is a difficult path that only one can enter in. Like, this is a difficult path. This narrow path is hard, man. Everybody can't walk it. Yo, look, this is a spiritual thing, right? And I'm gonna bring it up because this is spiritual, right? I was doing a lesson, and I was bringing up Yarumya, where he was saying on IG, you know, I love that brother, man. Don't know him too much, but the way the passion that he has for Yahweh Shema Shai and the sound doctrine, that I can tell that's a genuine brother that loves you know, the nation where he getting on them, right? But he was saying that his wife's siblings was trying to get her to go out to a concert or something. It's like, man, that's my damn wife, right? And they damn some harlots, and they were feeling some type of way. He's like, no, we're putting order in my damn house. Hell no, she a woman of the faith. No woman, that's not no place for no woman, right? Now, if she of the world, yeah, but she my wife. I order what she can and can't do, and I'm like, man, I understand that. I get that fully, and that's why even I did assess on my lesson that the women are going to get attacked on this side too, where they shouldn't be, doing it. So recently, through the spirit of my wife, she had a moment the next day listening to that lesson. I'm just bringing it up. My first wife had the same situation where the next day after hearing the lesson again, that her sister hit her up to go to a concert. And bringing that up even more to show that you women that's under a man of this faith, it doesn't matter if you're learning or you courting or you actually married to this man, you're going to be a target too, because he's a target. If he's truly a man of the Lord, right? It doesn't matter to be in the top 144,000 or just a man of the elect in general, you're going to be a target too. And this path is a difficult and dangerous path for you too, sister. Right? Akwath Yum. If you're with a man that's of the faith, if you're learning under a man of the faith, if you're courting a man of the faith, right, you're going to be a target. Even if not, just in general, a woman of this faith, you're a target too, because you are an Israelite, right? You're an Israelite too, man. So I want to read this. It says, we are not in this walk for entertainment or status. It's life or death. Strive for the truth until death. Eternal judgment or eternal life. We must stay focused. Like in the song that I did way back, I'm focused. I'm focused on these scriptures. We have to be focused on what's in front of us, our single eye. And what is the prize? Hamashiach Yahushai. Right? Let me get that real quick. Philippians. Keep your eyes single on the prize. Philippians chapter 3, verse 13. Brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth unto those things which are before. I press towards the mark for the prize of the high calling of the Most High, Hamashiach Yahushai. Right? You're pressing towards the mark, which is Hamashiach Yahushai. Yahushai is the prize. He's the target, right? I don't know if y'all ever shot an arrow before, but when you shoot an arrow, or when you playing darts, I don't know about y'all, I'm always trying to hit the bullseye. The bullseye is the target. That is the prize. That's the mark, right, that we want to reach, right? This is Luke 2:49. It says, this is the first, when you go to verse 42, Yahushai and Joseph and Mary is going back to Jerusalem to go to do Passover. They were walking, traveling back home. Yahushai drifted and stayed back and went to the doctors of the law, asking and answering them questions. Joseph and Mary was looking for him. And when they did find him, with the doctors of the law, this is what they said. This is what was said. This is Luke 2:49. He said unto them, how is it that ye saw me? Was he not that I must be about my Father's business? Right? And first, for you men, this is our main service, man, to be about the business of Yahweh Shem El Shai. His business is your business. Especially for you brothers that got the ability of teaching. If any brother said, oh yeah, one day I'm going to go out there teaching, and you ain't already doing it, you ain't even being amongst brothers that is teaching, right? You might most likely not even a teacher, man. Right? Brothers, like the lesson I did the other day, if you want to make the Lord laugh, make some plans. One day I'm going to be a teacher, and you're not making effort, you're not getting around brothers that's teaching, right? You ain't most likely going to even be a teacher, man. Right? But you must be about your Father's business, however that look, right? Putting order in your house, right? Putting order, examining yourself, right? When it comes to dealing with women, or when it comes to teaching this word, studying, sharpening yourself, right? Sometimes you're doing, even when you're reading chapters, you're going over precepts, you're doing even more distinct research, right? You might do a Wikipedia search, right? A Google search, right? You might be going on different websites, right? Just to make, just to make the right sharp search. You might even go on Chat GBT, get a critical search, right? You might go look up some videos. You know, we got to be about our Father's business, sun up to sundown, however the Spirit moves you. It says Yahweh Shai was serious. Yahweh Shai was serious from a young age. If we are to follow him, we must be about the Father's business daily, not halfway, daily. What did he say in Mark 3:35? Whoever do the will of my Father is my brother, mother, and sister. He said, he called, when he was talking to the disciples in St. John 15, he said, I call you not servants, right? I call you friends, because he laid down his life for his friends. We go to Proverbs. It's a friend that stick closer than a brother, right? We friends of Yahweh Shai, really the elect, but on this side, we friends of the Lord, man. Doing the will of the Lord. This is each and every day. Sometimes you slip and fall, but you get your ass back up. You wanna prepare yourself without blemish. We know Yahweh Shai is the best example, but every day you want to work towards that. That's why 1 John 2 and 6, if ye abide in him, you must also walk like he walked. Right? Move like Yahweh Shai. Somewhat try to teach like Yahweh Shai. Right? How you treat others, right, is the example how we supposed to, are we a reflection of Yahweh Shai? Right? So we got this one, Romans 13:11, the classic. Romans 13:11. In the KJV it says, in that knowing the time that now it is high time to wake out of sleep, for now is your salvation nearer than we believe. Now that you really in this truth, stay up. And how do you stay up? By that oil, that understanding. And this is why more wisdom give you grief. The more you analyze, the more you see stuff. You might see a movie, and like the elder was just saying that, because it be some camp, oh, GMS is a article camp, or GMS like to expound or relate things to a movie. But other brothers in other camps will expound on a movie or something. Like y'all don't got no spiritual eye. Don't y'all even know that some of the government, not even some of it, the government have a movie or a theater section for the government where they put in controversy in certain history things in movies. This is not just random. Half the media industry, movie industry, is ran by juju beings. So they're applying information that they're searching. A lot of these things ain't just fairy tales. Some of these movies is coming by them going into scriptures, not just Passion of Christ. They're really looking at either superheroes or certain things, and they finding some of these things in the scriptures. And what they're doing is they making a movie out of it and adding some fiction to it. But you can eat out of those things. Like when brothers say the end time or the end game, you think of the Avengers. But then the Avengers is getting their avenge back on Thanos. What is the Lord going to do? He's going to get his avenge the elect from those, right, that have been persecuting us, man. We want to be looking at things in a spiritual sense, and not just only movies, just the way of life, right? I'm looking at this water. It's always flowing water. Guess what is water when we look in the scriptures? Being born again, you must be born from water and spirit, right? That water is the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. The spirit is the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. They both go hand in hand, right? And it goes into that understanding. That water is the water don't go against the commands that the Lord have given it. The ocean and the sea doesn't mix. The air is flowing. It comes and goes from wherever direction. I can't even find what direction it comes from, right? But it's flowing. The trees, the plants, they're getting their nutrition from the sun, from the heat, from the oxygen in the air and the water. Oh, it's raining all the time. Guess what? All these things that this rain is benefiting in somewhere. Guess what? Then the Lord might cause a disaster somewhere else. Right? It's time to wake up. And now that you up, right, stay your ass up. Stay alert, man. Right? Stay your ass alert. Right? Let's get 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, verse 1 and 2. 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 1 and 2. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before. Isaiah 13 and 2. Lift up a banner. What is a banner? A banner is a sign. That banner is the word. Lift up this word. And how we lift up the word? When you read that verse, by your voice. Raise your voice, the trumpet. This right here is me raising my voice, bringing sound by speaking the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, which I have told thee before. Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Right? What is it? Isaiah 29 and 6. The Lord is visiting the earth through disasters, storms, tempests, fire. Right? The Lord is always in multiple ways visiting the earth. Right? That's why we should be measuring the times, man. Seeing the things that's going on. What happened in Texas? In the area in Texas, it was a whole water flood. Now it's in another area, it wasn't. But some, oh no, because it is. No, it was all Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Right? I want to get a side one in Matthew 24:42, what goes into measuring the times. Right? Measure thou the time diligently in itself. Us measuring the time is us keeping watch. Matthew 24, verse 42, it says, watch therefore. Hold on. I'm going to start up because this goes into like the 1/3. It says, verse 39, it says, it knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Then shall two be in the field, the one shall be taken and the other left. Two women shall be grinding at the mill, the one shall be taken and the other left. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour the Lord cometh. The Lord doeth cometh. Right? So that goes into the elect, man. Yo, somebody's going to be left to be destroyed, and somebody's going to be taken to be delivered. And none of us know when that hour Yahweh Shai coming. But if you are of the elect, making your calling sure, you guarding up these words, guess what? You're going to take heed. Right? I got fear of the Lord. That I don't want, look, it's a fearful thing to fall in the hands of the Lord. Let alone if you're not of the elect. If you're not of the elect, what's another thought? Well, what have you been doing this whole time in this faith, man? Right? Have you been making yourself occupied in this thing while the Lord coming? Right? Or are you dilly-gaggling? Is your mind where else the whole time? Of course, it's things that we all want to do. But where is your mind at? Right? Your mind your heart should always be stayed on Yahweh Shem Shai. This is why the brothers of Great Millstone start with the other apostles. If they watch a movie or a TV show, a thought of the scriptures or a thought of a prophecy come to mind, man. Again, we don't do this shit for y'all entertainment, man. Right? We are living in the last days, man. The Most High is visiting the earth. There is no time for playing games with the word. Right? It's no time. Yo, it's another way the Lord is visiting. Right? Death, man. Death. Somebody going right into the spirit world. Some people can be going to the spirit world because of sickness, health. what is it? 29. It's Isaiah 29:6. Thou shalt be visited of Yahweh of hosts with thunder, with earthquake, with great noise, with storm and tempest, and the flame of divine fire. Right? With those thunder, boom, those thunderbolts hitting the earth, hitting your city, hitting that country. That's the Lord visiting the earth. Literally, you know how our kids have imagination. You should be excited about that. The Lord is visiting the Lord visiting the earth, Mom. It's thundering. Dad, the Lord visiting the earth is thundering. Right? The Lord is visiting the earth, man. The Lord is visiting the earth. He's seeing how we occupy, man. Right? This is Hebrews. Hebrews 10 and 31. It says, it is a fearful thing to fall in the hands of the living power. It's a fearful thing to fall in the hands of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Right? A fearful thing. Right? And if you say, if you in this thing calling and saying Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, believing in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, you're invoking the name of the Father and the Son. With that comes great accountability. This truth is a calling, a mission, a covenant, not a hobby. This is not a hobby, man. Right? What's a hobby? Things to do to pass time. We ain't doing this to pass no damn time. I gotta work at 8. It's 12. It's 12:49. I should be asleep. Hell no, I shouldn't. Right? Because we should be measuring the time. Guess what? I need these lessons. You need these lessons. Right? I'm getting edified while I'm bringing it out. I get edified even when I'm looking it up. I'm getting edified when my mind wasn't even on this lesson. I had to get a chapter in. Hey, Lord willing, the Lord already sealed my instructions the day before, and a lesson comes. Then it just hit, and I'm like, wait, hold on, damn, wait, man. It's either I'm living for the Lord or I'm dying for the Lord. But it's better that I live, because it benefits the elect. It benefits the sheep. Right? So this truth is a calling, and it's calling many, but only few are chosen. Right? This is a mission. When Yahushua came down, he was sent down here on a mission. When he come down here again, Wisdom of Solomon 18:15, he's coming down with a mission. The mighty word of the Lord leaped off the throne to a place fit for destruction. Yahushua is coming back for a mission. The elect are here for a mission. This is why the apostles in the time of Yahushua, they have forsaken houses. This is why he said you're going to receive 100-fold. Those that have forsaken houses, forsaken wives. Peter, you hear about Peter's wife in the gospel, but you don't hear nothing else about it. You just hear Peter with the Lord, Peter with the Lord. And guess what? Through the Spirit, his wife knew. Wife was not, oh, babe, you haven't laid with me today. We don't hear none of that. Let alone she was a woman of faith. Most of the time, what comes with laying in that bed, you about to get frisky. And if you don't, y'all just lay in the bed, y'all might cuddle or whatever it is. But our women wasn't the way that they is now. You know? Just cherishing having a man of the Lord. Right? That was good. That was great. You know? Having a child by a man of the Lord, that was great. Raising a household under a man of the Lord, that was great. Right? This is a mission. This is a calling. This is a covenant. This is not no damn hobby. Right? And hey, women and children should be looking like, yo, my father is called. Oh, my father is on a mission. He's working. Damn, this is a covenant. Like, and that's the one thing. Like, I'm a man, and I'm looking at the other men of the Lord, and I'm like, man, these brothers been laboring for 40 years. Like, they're really on a mission. The Lord really got them pushing. You know, I'm not trying to aim to be here for 40 years, like be here, like us to be here for 40 years. But I hope if I am, that the Lord allow me to keep pushing for 40 years. I'm 34 now. So 40 years from now, That would be 10 from now would be 44, 55. Say I'll be 70 years old. I don't want to be Apostle Tahar age in this thing, right? I want to be with the Lord. But hey, if he calls me to endure this thing, hey, it is what it is. I want to still be teaching. I don't want to be somebody, I gotta get ready to teach. I gotta get better at teaching before I go out. I don't even want that. I used to tell myself, you know what, I ain't doing the lesson today because I was critiquing how I teach, my delivery, and I felt like it wasn't good enough. Say that chowder, I'm not gonna do a lesson, y'all. I'm gonna take a break. And the brother be like, nah, bro, you can't do that, bro. You be doing long ass lessons, hags, nah. Bro, just keep getting in there. And I needed that. That was really a rebuke how brothers was talking to me, right? Because you having a thought of stopping teaching for what? And if you thinking of being of the elect, that's a fearful thing where the Lord calls you to do a role and you stop. What if I truly stopped and the Lord went like and blew me out, bro? I would have been doing a whole different YouTube. I probably would have been doing what Kai and them doing. I would have been a streamer. I would have been a celebrity in some type of way. And I would have been blew out. I would have been in a Cucamonga. This head would have been a coconut. I would have been slow, bro. But the Lord wants you to be serious about this. This is a mission. It's a goal. It's something great at the end of this tunnel, man. This light affliction is not even compared to the glory we're about to receive through Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. In the end, we gonna really know, dang, this is what we was working for. But hey, what's the spirit you in now? Like the apostles, they always getting on the kingdom. What's about to come? They always speaking about that. You gotta really be meditating that in your mind, man. Lord wanted us edifying to the sheep. And for those, if it wasn't, hey, this wasn't for you. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to the one true power, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakak Badash, Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahushai, double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who rule well and teach well through the Spirit, and a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect in the same Spirit. Teach his word and believe in his word, but winning that you all can continue to endure and be sincere in the sound doctrine in the same Spirit. Shalom to Akwat Yam in the same Spirit. Lord willing, you continue to pursue in your lot, which is being a loving and silent, virtuous wife, and that you continue to endure and be sincere. And Lord willing, the most have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. With that, shalom, shalom, ball, ball.